the Amberley Village Council meeting of April 8th, 2019. We'll wait one moment until our lights are restored.
All that you need is a rabbi to say, "Let there be light."
There you go.
You see?
There we go.
We have light.
Okay. Please call the roll.
Rich Bardak. Here. Peg Conway.
Here.
Ed Hattenbeck.
Here.
Alita Kamine.
Here.
Tom Muthing.
Here.
Ray Warren.
Here.
Natalie Wolf.
Here.
Scott Larmer.
Here.
Kevin McDonough. Chief Wallace.
Here.
If everyone could please rise and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. First item on our agenda this evening is the approval of our minutes from our last meeting. Those minutes were circulated in the package. There was one editorial correction today. Are there any other corrections, additions, or deletions to the minutes? If not, we can consider the minutes approved. Next item on the agenda is our finance report for February 2019.
Included in your packet is the UAN report and then also a summary of finances for the village for February 2019. For the earnings tax for the month of February, a total of over $110,000. This is up about 6% from February of 2018's collection of $104,000. The total we've collected so far this year is $361,000 in earnings tax. Our estimate for the year is $2,750,000, so we're about 16% at this point in the 2 months out of the year. The village also received an advance from Hamilton County Auditor's Office in regards to our property tax. This is something the village has been doing the last few years, asking for the money to be advanced to us. It is the money that we have. It's our money. The county collects it and provides it to us. But unless you ask for it in advance, it comes at a later point in time. So we have been insistent on receiving that as soon as possible. So we received $290,000 of the property tax in the month of February. Local government fund took in about a little less than $6,000 for the month. And so our total revenue for the month of February is about $492,000. And so for a total revenue picture, our revenue projection is $4.9 million. So in total, we've taken in $795,000 for the entire 2-month period, for about 16% collection rate at this point. On the expense side for the general fund, we have spent $689,000. That is high for us, but that also includes some expenses from the previous year that were encumbered and carried over into 2019. The budget for 2019 is $5.2 million, and so far we have spent $1.1 million of that budget. So we're about 20%, so that is a little bit higher. Part of that is due to a transfer that occurred in the month of February that typically does not occur. This was related to our capital funds. You may recall we approved some capital expenditures on a purchase of a truck and some other equipment. It was necessary to go ahead and make that transfer early in the year as opposed to later in the year. It was budgeted monies, it just happened sooner than later. That leaves us with an unencumbered general fund balance of $4.3 million, and that concludes my report.
Are there any questions for the manager? If not, we'll move on to, I wanted to read a proclamation this evening. This is the second time we've had this proclamation. Before the meeting today, this afternoon, I did a fair amount of research on Rabbi Schneerson. And, you know, for someone who was unfamiliar, I was blown away with how impressive of a man he was. I mean, just some of the things, I mean, when I read that his published teachings fill more than 300 volumes, it's just incredible. And he was posthumously recognized with the Congressional Medal of Honor. So I would really like to read this proclamation. Be it proclaimed, whereas excellence in education is vital to the success of our village, and in Amberley we seek to instill each child and adolescent with a good education, and whereas by preparing our students for the responsibilities and opportunities of the future, Education develops the intellect through lessons on literacy, math, and science. And whereas the Rabbi Menachem Schneerson dedicated his life to the betterment of mankind and tirelessly advocated for a better education for all Americans. And whereas the Rebbe taught that education should not be limited to the acquisition of knowledge and preparation for a career, but also on character building with emphasis on the universal moral and ethical values that are the basis of any peaceful, civilized society. And whereas the United States Congress has established Education and Sharing Day, USA, as an annual national day to commemorate the Rebbe's achievements and the lessons and the vision he set forth are relevant to us all today. And now therefore, I, Thomas Muthing, Mayor of Amberley Village, do hereby proclaim Tuesday, April 16, 2019, as Education and Sharing Day, USA, in Amberley Village. Everyone, thanks for all that you do. Thank you very much.
I can just add a word. Certainly, the Rebbe's teachings were an inspiration for Rabbi Kalmanson here. I don't know how many of you remember, but several years ago, there was a very famous court case that basically challenged the city of Cincinnati's position that a Hanukkah menorah, could not be placed on Fountain Square. And it was through the efforts and work of Rabbi Kalmanson that I don't know if it went all the way to the Supreme Court. Excuse me? Yeah, I believe it did. It really enabled some changes in City Hall downtown. And so this was really an effort to promote religious liberty and tolerance in our own community, and certainly thank you.
I'm just going to have to ask for an apology because I have to run for another proclamation in another municipality. But we'll be back. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Okay, we'll now move on to committee reports, and first committee is the Streets and Public Utilities.
Okay. The Streets, Public Utilities, and Sewer Committee met twice in the last week, and so I'll report in terms of what we've accomplished during this 7-8 day period. The first item that I'll talk about is the grass mowing bids, the 2019 grass mowing bids for the village. In your report, you have a pretty detailed description, so I'll try and summarize a little bit, but it's certainly for the residents that are present, I think it's important that you have an understanding of what we're doing this year. Unlike previous years, where vendors were asked to submit proposals for the various parts of the mowing needs of the village, this year the village manager recommended that the entire mowing needs be handled through a closed bidding process. This was done in view of the fact that the total cost for mowing was near or exceeded the expense threshold requiring a formal bid, which is $50,000. And vendor awards tended to lump several of our mowing needs. Additionally, the village fine-tuned and increased the specifications for the work. In this way, maintenance could set expectations for acceptable work, for example, when to mow, as well as litter cleanup, just to name a couple things, and to better monitor performance. Bids were requested for 3 general work descriptions. These included the municipal property grounds, the Amberley Green, and the north site and rights-of-way. The bid would be based on the number of mowing visits to these sites in 2018. So, for example, the municipal property had 28 visits, and there was 1 bush hogging visit at the green. In addition to these 3 general property areas, the village also sought to get an estimate for the Ronald Reagan Highway ramps. While this property is the responsibility of the state, The state rarely mows the area, maybe once or twice a year. And the appearance can be unsightly. 4 bids were submitted. Brightview, which is a publicly traded national company, submitted the lowest bid, which excluded the bush hogging at Amberley Green. EMS Lawn Care submitted the lowest bid for that. Brightview's bid for all 3 areas was $48,512, which was considerably less than our cost last year of over $63,000. And that includes the bush hogging. Excludes the bush hogging, excuse me. So with regard to the Ronald Reagan ramps, Brightview also submitted the lowest bid of $200 a visit. Assuming the 2019 workload will be similar to 2018, and including the highway ramps, we anticipate there will be a cost savings to the village. The proposed contract with Brightview, which you see before you, will be on a cost per visit or a cost per cut, based on the 2018 experience that I just described. So what's before you is Resolution 2019-9, authorizing the village manager to enter into a contract for mowing services on village-owned property and village rights-of-way. And the details in that resolution include the cost for each of these segments. So for example, the cost per visit at the municipal grounds will be $220 per visit. At the segments of the Amberley Green will include $138 per visit at the visible perimeter of the green, $900 per visit at the less visible areas of the green, the interior of the green, $770 per visit at the north site, and $200 per visit at the highway ramps. So before you use a motion to approve 2019-9.
Okay, it has been moved and seconded that we adopt Resolution 2019-9, authorizing the village manager to enter into a contract for mowing services. Are there any questions or comments? If not, it has been moved and seconded that we adopt Resolution 2019-9. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Be it noted that the resolution passes unanimously.
The second item before you, Resolution 2019-10, is in regard to the proposed Ohio motor fuel tax. As many of you know, recently Ohio Governor Mike DeWine proposed an increase in the motor fuel tax to the legislature. At this time, and that is at the time we had our meeting a week ago, the legislature had been deliberating the exact increase, which may be less than the governor's proposal of 18 cents a gallon for gasoline. And this would represent an increase from the current 28 cents per gallon to 46 cents a gallon. And the tax would be higher for diesel fuel. The State House had countered with an 11-cent increase, and as of last week, the Senate continued to deliberate on this proposal. Now, an increase in the fuel tax should result in an increase in funds available to the village for needed street repair, in addition to improvements on our state highways, which we all know are in poor shape. While cars have increased their fuel efficiency over the years, resulting in less fuel consumption, the impact of vehicles on road integrity has not improved, and there has been less fuel tax collection for road maintenance and repair. So before you is a resolution supporting Ohio House Bill 62 and Governor Mike DeWine's sales tax proposal. So that's Resolution 2019-10.
Second.
Okay, it has been moved and seconded that we adopt Resolution 2019-10 supporting Ohio House Bill 62 and Governor DeWine's gas tax.
I think that this bill has already been voted on and passed, actually, and passed. And we're urging our state rep and state senator to vote yes on something that's already resolved.
This did get voted on late last week and it's been signed into law. And we debated whether we should take it off. what our proposal to do is don't take it off, but attach a cover letter saying that, you know, we approved this after, but that we continue to believe that additional tax is needed. And we can show evidence that our general fund has to subsidize our street funds substantially, as other communities do. And in addition to, you know, they're obviously not going to increase right now, but it took them 15 years to finally get to the point where they address this issue. So we intend to put in our cover letter that it, you know, please don't allow another 15 years to pass before you really give appropriate consideration to this. So we would just attach that in the cover letter.
Well, maybe, do we want to maybe just change the title? Because our state rep has voted against it, and our state senator and our senator voted for it. And, I mean, at this point, they've already cast their votes, and then it's been signed into law, so I don't see why we can't support a resolution that, in support of the tax, without urging our representatives to do something that they already did. It just makes us seem a little behind.
I think it's, I mean, if we attach a letter, it's procedurally simpler for us to just pass what we have in front of us than amend it and re-vote and then rewrite it, and
It's
I don't,
just a title change. I mean, it's not change to the substantive part of the resolution.
Yeah, I mean,
It doesn't, the resolution itself doesn't really,
we can change, you can make a motion to amend the title of the thing, to take out, you know, those words, and we can pass it tonight with that amended, and when we send the cover letter out, it'll just take that out with the resolution.
can I make one other comment? I was just going to suggest that perhaps the cover letter ought to take the opportunity to mention the local government fund and any other issues we want to mention around revenue lost to state actions.
I would agree with that, too.
So,
I'm waiting for instruction. I wait instruction.
I think the easiest thing to do is, I mean, in essence, I don't think we need a separate motion to amend, because basically we are voting on. We all understand that we're going to strike some words in the thing to delete. So the title of this will read, Resolution Supporting Ohio House Bill 62 and Governor DeWine's gas tax proposal. Period.
Period. Mm-hmm.
So we will strike the rest of that. So
In section 1.
it has been.
Should we also remove section 1?
Oh,
So we now have Ray, if you'll make a motion to approve that resolution.
Understood, but I'm also wondering, should we delete section 1, which refers to a motor fuel tax increase of 18 cents per gallon?
why not just
Or
put a
just- or
period,
just-
another period there? After
Why don't
gallon.
we just say that we strongly support the proposed increase in the Ohio motor fuel tax, period? Okay, so the motion is now, resolution supporting Ohio House Bill 62 and Governor DeWine's gas tax proposal, period. The next 3 paragraphs of whereas remain the same. And then section 1 will read that we strongly support the proposed increase in the Ohio motor fuel tax, period. Section 2 remains the same. Okay. I have one other, oh, good.
Okay, so it's
Okay.
been moved and seconded that we adopt Resolution 2019-10, a resolution supporting Ohio House Bill 62 and Governor DeWine's gas tax proposal. Are there questions or comments? And I know
Right. I have-
Councilman Warren has an additional comment.
I just have one comment, and that's not to change the resolution, but it's really just to make a general comment on this tax in general. And to be clear, you know, most Amberley residents are not going to be adversely affected by this gas tax increase. But frankly, personally, I think it would have been preferable if the state had an alternative funding mechanism relative to a regressive sales tax increase, which hurts the working poor and are dependent on, getting to work with their own cars and what have you. We know mass transit in the state is pretty poor. So as I said, I'm not making a suggestion we change the motion, but just to make a note that I personally think it would have been preferable if there was an alternative way of funding this.
Any other questions or comments?
This is back to your cover letter point. I'm slow today. I'm still thinking about the first part of the streets report about the mowing of the highway ramps, and I'm very pleased that we're doing that. Extremely pleased because I've complained about it before. I know a lot of residents complain about it, but that might be another that's something that the state is supposed to be doing and paying for. So it may add it to the list of, things that doesn't have to be in this cover letter, but it's sort of along the same line. These are related, actually, issues in terms of additional burdens that we are taking on to the benefit of our residents, of course, and we're happy to do that, I think, but that really the state has placed on us, unfortunately. So just to tie those two pieces together.
Any other questions or comments? If not, it has been moved and seconded that we adopt Resolution 2019-10, which is a resolution supporting Ohio House Bill 62 and Governor DeWine's gas tax proposal. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Be it noted that the resolution passes unanimously.
And I have one other, or maybe two other items to discuss, not to be voted on, but just to share information. Earlier this afternoon, evening, the Stormwater Advisory Board met, followed with another Streets Committee meeting to review the upcoming stormwater projects for 2019. So what I wanted to share with Council is that Stormwater Advisory Board has recommended a program that will cost approximately $225,000 for 2019, and that will include 3 stormwater projects on Farm Acres Drive, Fair Oaks Lane, and Arborcrest Court. It will also include the contribution of stormwater funds toward the streets program, which I'll mention in a moment, as well as fees paid to the Hamilton County Stormwater Department, as well as payments to the Amberley Village Maintenance Department for stormwater maintenance. Secondly is the streets program. Again, nothing to be voted on this evening, but really just to provide some information. I think we've mentioned this in the past year, that some of our streets require some considerable work that will cost the village a considerable amount of money. And so wherever possible, the village, and I really commend the village manager, is to try and hook up with other programs from other Hamilton County or city functions. So, for example, the Cincinnati Water is going to be replacing water lines on several streets in the village later this fall. And so we're going to be piggybacking on that work in order to repave some of our streets. So, for example, the streets program will include Arborcrest Drive, Arborcrest Court, Long Meadow Lane, White Tree Circle. I think that's it. And the cost of the streets program this year, we anticipate the total cost of this repaving program will be approximately $719,000. Of that amount, Cincinnati Waterworks will be reimbursing us to the tune of about $215,000 for their part of that excavation and redoing and relaying water pipe. So I just wanted to share that information. Obviously, bids are going to need to go out, and then we'll come back to council for that approval. I just wanted to highlight some of those points. And so with that, that's the Streets Committee report.
Thank you. And just to clarify one thing, the digging part on those streets is already, the water line piece has already happened. We lived it well for a while, so the paving part is coming in the fall, and I think that's important. Thank you for bringing that up too, not just in the context of the streets program, but the residents who hopefully have received a letter now, but the people who I live on one of those streets, so, and so does Councilmember Hattenbach. So we've been living with this very much day in and day out. But I think the streets are not, to highlight for residents, the streets are not going to stay in the condition they are in, but the village is going to be doing that paving work later this year as the streets program. So thank you for highlighting that.
Any other questions or comments? I mean, it's worthwhile noting that the numbers that were mentioned, 719,000 total street program. If you take the 719 and you consider the amount that the stormwater fund is going to pay for, and the amount that the is paid by Waterworks, that
So
brings
it's
the
about half-
program
it's about
down to
half.
like 360,
Right, it's about
which is
half.
right in line with kind of our typical program. So, net in the end of the day, our streets program is, as far as cost to the village, is going to be a very similar amount.
Right.
More question. Do we know if there will be future projects like that? Is Waterworks, are we queued up with anybody else, any other parts of the village?
This was the last, this was the last project on GCWW's list, but they're always adding to their list based on the condition of the water mains in the village and throughout their service area. So we continue to touch base with them just to determine if there's any additional streets that have been added, because it's important to us from a planning standpoint if there is a street that is targeted for that kind of replacement.
Anything else? Okay, we'll now move on to the manager's report.
Thank you, Mayor. The one item I wanted to mention, two items I wanted to mention tonight. First is in regards to Amberley Green and the Jewish Community Center's proposal to develop a portion of that. As most residents know, for the last 2 years, we've had discussions with the JCC in regards to examining different aspects of the Amberley Green property, and they have stated their interest in an expansion primarily of their camp, but they're interested in doing something on that property that would create some recreational amenities, not only for them, but also for village residents. And the JCC has arrived at a concept plan. Their board has approved that. And so our next step is to host a series of open house meetings where residents can come in and look at the plans and provide feedback to staff as well as to council. So tonight we are announcing the dates and the times for those meetings, but this will be published in the print newsletter that'll be coming out later this month, and then in other social media circles to announce the opportunity for residents to come and see the plans and also share their comments about it. So these will start in mid-May, so May 14th is the first date, and that'll be these are 2-hour blocks, and residents only need to attend one. They don't need to attend all 6 of them, but it is an open house where you just come and go as you want. So on Tuesday, May 14th from 3 until 5 p.m., on Wednesday, May 15th from 4:30 till 6:30 p.m., on Thursday, May 16th from 7 until 9 p.m., and then the following Monday, May 20th from 1 until 3 in the afternoon, Tuesday from 7 until 9 p.m., and then Thursday, May 23rd from 5 until 7 p.m. So put that on your calendars, and we hope to get a lot of input from residents about what is being proposed on Amberley Green.
And it's worth noting, and you use the term, these are open houses. So if, a meeting might say 7 to 9, but if the person can't get there till 7:30, that's not a problem.
That's fine. Yeah, we will be there for that duration of the 2-hour period, taking comments from residents and showing them the plan, yes.
Will there be like a Q&A form prepared? Will there be a Q&A form like prepared before that? This way residents can kind of, get an idea about what's going to be talked about or what might be asked, or if it may prompt questions?
Yes, at this point, we're planning on a frequently asked questions sheet, so when residents come in, they'll be provided that information. There's some other items that are being planned for, to inform residents about what is occurring. So yes, it'll be information provided, yes. Then my second item is that I'm quite proud to be able to announce that Chief Wallace has been nominated and awarded the Superior Achievement in Police Leadership Award. This is from the Fraternal Order of Police, the Queen City Lodge, number 69. He was nominated for this, and I think it's probably most appropriate that I read part of the nomination because it's quite relevant. You'll be quite proud of the chief in this nomination. This is just a portion of it. Chief Wallace oversees one of two uniquely combined police fire departments in the state of Ohio. He has worked diligently to earn the professional credentials of Certified Law Enforcement Executive, Police Executive Leadership College, and the Xavier University Leadership Foundation certificate in his quest for professional excellence. He has served in a variety of roles during his career at Amberley Village, including fire inspector, fire instructor, fire investigator, UFIS driving instructor, field training officer, hazardous materials technician, taser instructor, and first aid AED CPR instructor. He also serves as the security director for Moeller High School, coordinating the law enforcement functions of the school and special events. And Chief Wallace also coordinates all events for the Jewish community and their facilities with Amberley as well as Goff Manor. This is to ensure the safety of the Jewish people and their family and friends. He is a native Cincinnatian, and Chief Wallace cares deeply about all the communities in Hamilton County. And the next paragraph goes on to note the boards that he serves on, which we know are numerous. So he serves on the executive boards for the SHIELD, the Guns and Hoses, Hamilton County Police Association, Great Oaks Police Academy, and the RCIC/Clear Board. He is a past secretary, treasurer, and vice president and president of the Hamilton County Association of Chiefs of Police, and his duties with the SHIELD include administering all funds as their treasurer. He is instrumental in coordinating food, hotel rooms, monetary support, visiting and staying in contact with family members of officers injured or killed in the line of duty. He goes above and beyond in serving officers and their families when the line of duty injuries or deaths occur in Hamilton, Butler, Warren, or Clermont County. Chief Wallace coordinates local and regional fundraisers for the SHIELD and spends countless hours assisting those in need. He's always eager to help in any way that he can, always going the extra mile above and beyond the call of duty. And the last paragraph of the nomination, in summary, Colonel Richard L. Wallace, through his leadership, has made and continues to make significant contributions towards the improvement and development of Ohio public safety. His selfless initiative, his civic concern, and commitment to excellence being contributing factors to his success. His leadership has improved interagency cooperation and operation and the effectiveness and efficiency in the delivery of public safety services in the citizenry of Hamilton County. His outstanding leadership, not only to Amberley Village, but to the numerous professional organizations which he has improved, is noteworthy. And I am confident that the committee will find Chief Richard L. Wallace deserving of the Superior Achievement in Police Leadership Award. So this is the top leadership award that you can receive. So congratulations to Chief Wallace. So he will be recognized at a dinner being held by the FOP, actually being held here in Amberley Village at the Jewish Community Center. That'll be on May the 10th, and then his name will be mentioned at the Police Memorial Week when we celebrate that downtown at Fountain Square on May the 17th at 11 a.m. He will be mentioned at that time as well.
Yeah, I think, on behalf of all Amberley residents, congratulations. I mean, those words in there, I think most Amberley residents would agree with every bit of that. But I hope we're getting better at recognizing you and your contributions on a daily basis. But I think it's great that you're being recognized outside Amberley Village, because you have done so much for policing throughout the county, the state, et cetera. So congratulations.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
And that concludes your report? Okay, we'll now move on to the chief.
I'm going to pass.
Okay. Then we'll move on to the mayor's report. Before you this evening is a resolution that I mentioned at the last meeting that I was intending to put together. As I mentioned at the last meeting, Hamilton County Public Health is celebrating 100 years of service. We as Amberley Village receive our public health services from Hamilton County Public Health, and they provide a great service at an unbelievably reasonable cost to us. So I would hereby like to move that, what this resolution simply does is recognizes Hamilton County Public Health for their 100 years of services, the employees, the board, et cetera, of the Hamilton County Public Health. So I'd hereby like to move that we adopt Resolution 2019-11, recognizing Hamilton County Public Health for 100 years of service.
Second.
Okay, it has been moved and seconded that we adopt Resolution 2019-11, recognizing Hamilton County Public Health for 100 years of service. Are there any questions or comments? If not, it has been moved and seconded that we adopt Resolution 2019-11. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Be it noted that the resolution passes unanimously. The next item I wanted to mention was I did receive a letter, I think last week, noting that Amberley Village has again been recognized as a Tree City USA community. I believe this is it's either our 15th or 16th year as a Tree City USA community, and the awards will be presented at a meeting in May that I intend to go to up in Centerville, Ohio. It is recognized for the whole area, but again, it's a lot of work done by our maintenance staff, volunteers, our village administration staff. Our acting clerk is in charge of every year putting together our application. So again, that application was successful, and we thank you very much for all that you did to make sure it was successful. Next, I wanted to mention, we received a notification from Hamilton County that the Hamilton County every year gives incentive awards to communities for the amount that they recycle. And for the first time this year, as part of the recycling rates, they've also included the yard waste that we collect. So in the past, talked about our diversion rate, which compares the rate that we recycle versus the rate that goes to the landfill. Our rates have been anywhere from the low 20s to a little bit more than 25%. Well, this year our diversion rate jumped to 53% because of the inclusion of yard waste. And our 53% rate is now number 2 in the county behind Mariemont, who achieved 58%. But we are reimbursed at the very top rate because of the rates that we achieve. So, very good. And that ties into my next report, which follows on from the one-stop drop of yesterday, which I think as a result of the one-stop drop, we haven't gotten the final tonnage numbers, but there's no doubt that the tonnage numbers are going to increase our diversion rate even further. So maybe we will get up closer to, or maybe even surpass Mariemont. We did have 925 cars go through to the line of one-stop drop. This is a 20% increase from our mark of last year, which was the highest mark we'd gotten. We have gotten the tonnage numbers for paper that was collected. We collected and shredded 15 tons of paper, which compares to 11 tons from last year. So again, that's a 35% increase. We do get, I mentioned we're at the top rate for tonnage that we get paid for on a diversion rate. And we get paid $32, or in 2018, we got paid $32.60 a ton. So just that 15 tons of paper equates to a little bit more than $500 that we get in. And I'm sure with the amount that Goodwill filled 2 trucks, and Cohen Recycling filled a semi and a half with recycling. So I am certain that both those rates will far exceed the amounts that they got in previous years. So there's no doubt that the amount that we will collect probably is somewhere close to $1,500 because of that. So I do want to recognize, and I intend to invite Kathy Kramer and Pete Duffy to a next month's council meeting, because this event is put on by volunteers only, and Kathy and Pete are really the instrumental force behind it. They spend countless hours just making sure that the thing goes off as seamlessly as possible. We did have a little bit of traffic back up onto Ridge Road, given the number of cars that showed up starting at 11:30 for our 12 o'clock start. But, you know, they just do a great job putting the volunteers together, et cetera. So it was a great day, and I congratulate both of them. And as I said, I intend to invite them to next month's council meeting. And then the final item I just want to mention is our annual Arbor Day celebration, which will be April 24th at 6 o'clock. We will be meeting out at the flagpole in front. We will be doing pretty much the same thing we've done in the past. We will be reading a proclamation. We combined our Arbor Day celebration with a little bit of celebration of Earth Day, and then we will be planting a tree. I have not heard what tree we will be planting yet and where we will plant it, but I know our maintenance staff have been working on that. So for anyone who is interested, please plan on attending. It's a fun day or fun evening, and you can learn a little bit about planting a tree. But that concludes my mayor's report. Are there any questions or comments?
Great event. I'm really disappointed that I was out of town and had to miss it, because I know it's always a really good event. And your mention of the yard waste, again, makes me think of compost and what a good fit increased composting would be for Amberley. And perhaps next year's one-stop drop, we could include educational materials or compost bins or the little bins or something that people can pick up to get them started on their way to doing something that becomes really habitual and
This year, we increased the number of traffic lanes from 3 to 4. And it was still, I mean, there were times where, you know,
well,
was
it
still
doesn't have to
crowded.
be at this
Anyway,
event,
yeah,
but
understood.
to
No, it's a wonderful
increase
idea,
education
wonderful idea.
and awareness of compost all the time. We have the community garden, so it
Yep.
fits hand in hand. And
I know the Environmental Stewardship Committee, I think they did it in late 2017, has tried to run a program on composting. We did do an education.
We can combine
we
it
had
with
one
like
in
the bike helmet safety.
2012, I think.
But I think the idea of possibly putting
The bike
together
helmet
some reading
safety
material or something,
program.
maybe that's something we can do.
Maybe combine it with like a bike helmet safety program that we do, you know, just at a table.
I just wanted to compliment the police staff too for the one-stop drop. It is a huge traffic situation, and it was really very well run. I mean, cars were moving all over the parking lot, but by and large, they were directed. I mean, it was really quite effective. And I believe it about that paper. I can't believe I was lifting the boxes for like 2 hours, and I was exhausted.
Okay, any other questions or comments? Any new business?
Natalie's mention of the garden reminded me that this year, the Amberley Village, our community garden, is a hub garden with the Civic Garden Center, and that means that twice monthly, we're having garden programs that they are presenting. And next Wednesday, well, a week from Wednesday, the 17th, at, I can't remember what time. I think it's at 7. Well, anyway, one of the programs is going to be gardening, and one is going to be cooking. This is gardening, and it's at 7 at the garden, and someone from the Civic Garden Center will be there. They'll make a little presentation about something related to gardening at this time of year and walk around the plots with it, to show examples or take questions. So it's open to people who are not members of the garden. So if there are any other vegetable gardeners or flower gardeners around, they're welcome, in the village, you're welcome to come. 6 o'clock. Thank you, it's at 6 o'clock.
The Human Rights Commission has been meeting, and their next meeting is this Wednesday, the 10th, at 5 o'clock. And they're open meetings, everyone is welcome to attend. And also, I don't know why.
In the community.
In the community room, yes. And the following Wednesday, the 17th, at 6 o'clock, We Thrive Working Group is meeting, and they've also been meeting every month. And that's from 6 to 7, and that one is probably up here in the conference room.
Any other items? If not, we can consider.
One other item, I just want to wish all the residents in the village happy Easter and a sweet Passover.
Thank you very much. And with that, we can consider the meeting adjourned. Thank you.